Alright guys, let's hop right into it. The brand new Diablo 4 patch notes just came out and I just want to cover all of the new classes. So just as a heads up, these will apply for both the seasonal characters and the Eternal Realm. So regardless that this patch is kind of like a pre-season patch, it will apply to all of them. So let's kick it off right now with the Barbarian. I'll give you guys my thoughts on these as well. So starting right off with Barbarian, we have Violent Swing, Vulnerable Duration getting increased by 1 second. So it's double the duration, right? Furious Upheaval damage bonus per stack increased from 3 to 5, so almost a double on Upheaval. And then we have Power Charge cooldown reduction is now capped to 3 targets on Power Charge for a maximum of 9 seconds of cooldown reduction. Tactical Ground Stop Fury gain increased from 25 to 40. Then we have Enhanced Death Blows damage bonus to bosses increased from 100% to 150. Next up, Steelgrass got a buff, Vulnerable Duration increase. This is actually a pretty good skill, and getting extra duration is still not bad at all. And then we have Enhanced Rupture damage increase from 30 to 45%, so a 15% bonus. That's pretty big. It's like 50% right there. And then on top of that, Warrior's Rupture attack speed bonus increase from 20 to 30%, and duration increase from 4 to 5 seconds. Wow, I mean, getting 30% attack speed and getting the duration increase, that might be something to consider. Then we have Fighter's Rupture healing increase from 15 to 18% of maximum life. Okay, that's kind of small, but nonetheless, those are the changes with the skills on Barbarian. So next up, we have the Barbarian passive. So Hamstring now only slows healthy enemies, and the slow amount increase from 10, 20, 30 to 20, 40, 60. This is actually a nerf to Barbarian. It's a massive nerf, actually, because sure, you get the initial proc, but if you need to get the bonus slow on some sort of target for whatever via damage to crowd-controlled enemies or anything like that, or if you're just in a party and you need it for your other teammates, this is actually unfortunate. So as far as more of this is the thing, just so we have like extra clarity right here. This is the one, it's a red one over here. So this makes it so the bleeding effects slows the enemies. Now with this most recent update, it only slows healthy enemies. It did give us a bonus, but this bonus doesn't matter because we don't care about how much it's slowing the enemies. We only need for that slow to apply. So what this means for some Barb players, you may want to consider Penitent Greaves to actually apply the slow or chill effect to get the crowd control. Anyways, cut to the bone, bleeding damage bonus of vulnerables reduced from 6, 12, 18. So this got a small nerf to that, but specifically this is actually this does matter for sure on Barbarian. Anyways, next up, Paragon Glyphs bonus now affects all damage instead of just core skills. That's a nice little buff there. The aspect, the Relentless Berserker's aspect berserking duration increased from 1 to 2. Battle Med aspect berserking duration increased from 1 to 2.5 to 2 to 3.5. Brawler's aspect damage increased from 1 to 1.3 to 1.5, so it's just a small, like, it's like a 0.5 extra upgrade at the higher end. Burning Rage damage increase. Okay, so this might be something to consider. This is like, while you're berserking, you're just going to get like some sort of, I think you just get to get some burning damage. So maybe you can consider this considering you got twice the stats on it. Next up, the aspect of the Iron Warrior damage reduction increase from 15 to 25 to 18 to 28. The Slacking aspect lucky hit chance increased from 30 to 50 to 40 to 60. Aspect of the Ancestral Echo's lucky hit chance increased by 10%. Then Weapons Master aspect lucky hit chance increased by like 5%. I'm just going to go over like the higher number because more likely most of us are kind of at the end game anyways, and this way it makes the video a little bit faster. Next up, Gore's devastating grips now explodes every 2 seconds or after it ends, and its hit ooh! Oh, okay, so this is a buff to Gore's in a sense. But considering that it has no hit cap, that means if there's a giant group of enemies and we suck them all in, it just automatically starts popping. Now, will this become super strong and viable? Well, considering you lose out on, 12% crit, and on top of that, you're losing out on the aspect, and considering it also does fire damage, it's probably still going to be relatively bad. If it didn't have like that percent, if it didn't do fire damage and it didn't have that, like, it would do like, I don't know what the percent is. It's just a low number in general. I still think it might be kind of weak, but we'll have to test it out and wait and see. I already have multiple Gores, so we can test this out easily. Next up, the Fields of Crimson bleeding damage bonus is increased from 10 to 15. Okay, so next up, we got the Necromancer. Let's see if we got any nerfs to specifically Bone Spear, because that's, oh wait, no, we're not in Necromancer yet. We're in Druid. I don't know why for some reason on the website that the text got kind of messed up, but nonetheless, we're the Druid. Necromancer next. So skills, claw attack speed bonus increase, so that's a nice 5% increase to enhanced claw attack. Storm strike damage reduction reduced, so you're going to take a little bit more damage. Boulder damage increased to 46, so what is that, 11%, or no, 13% increase. So we have Savage Trample Spirit Gain increased to 40, so that's double. And then Prime Lacerate Healing increased by almost double, so getting another 2% there. Cataclysm Lightning damage increased from 64 to 77, and Tornado damage from 19 to 23, so nice little buff over there. Supreme Cataclysm Vulnerable Duration increase, Prime Cataclysm Duration increased from 2 to 4. Prime Grizzly Rage now grants Unstoppable for 6 seconds instead of while active. Ooh. Okay, so this could be actually a little bit of a nerf here. Passes the provocation threshold required to guaranteed overpower reduced from, I guess, 25 to 16 at the higher end. Then we have the Spirit Boon, the Masochistic, now requires a lucky hit chance of 75%. Prickle Skin Thorns increase from 0.1 to 0.15. Iron Feather maximum life increased from 10 to 40, so 4% extra life. And then we have Bolster Fortify increased from 10 to 15% of maximum life. Overload damage increased from 0.2 to 0.25. And then with the Paragon, the Spirit Glyph bonus now affects all damage instead of core skills. This is a great change if all of them are getting this, because this is just good. Then we have Aspect of the Calm Breeze lucky hit chance increased from 5 to 10% to 7 to 12. The Balanced Aspect of Maximum Spirit increased from 30 to 50 to 60 to 80, and then Aspect of the Tempest damage bonus increased, went up to like 3%. Then the Skinwalker's Aspect healing increased from whatever it was, like you get an extra like 20% of the whatever it was before. So it's instead of 1 or 0.1, it's 0.12. Symbiotic Aspect cooldown reduction reduced from 4 to 8 to 3 to 5. Then the Aspect of Stampede damage bonus increased from 10 to 20 to 16 to 26, then Shepherd's damage bonus increased by like 2%. Okay. A lot of these are small numerical changes, but overall, you know, it's just small buffs. Insatiable Fury Werebear skill ranks increased from 2 to 3. Mad Wolf's Glee Werewolf skill ranks increased from 2 to 3. This was weird because if you upgraded it, it gave you 3 anyways, even though it wouldn't say it did, but nonetheless, that's fine. Next up, Necromancer. I'm really curious to see if Bone Spear. Alright, so initiates Decompose Slow increase, so it's almost double right there. It's a 20% increase. Paranormal Sever cast required for vulnerable reduced from 4 to 3. Enhanced Blood Surge healing increased from 2.5 to 3%. Then Enhanced Blood Lance damage reduction for piercing reduced from 15 to 10%. And then Bone Prism initial essence gain increased by 10. Aberrant Iron Maiden increased from 5 to 7% of maximum life. Golems move faster and unhindered through enemies when their cooldown is activated. Supreme Blood Wave leaves behind Blood Orbs earlier in its path. Ray Skeleton, Corpse Explosion, and Corpse Tendrils range for auto-targeting corpses on mouse and keyboard increased by 50%. Okay, so that's going to be a nice change. Ray Skeleton Priest bonus damage increased from 20 to 30, and the Ray Skeleton Priest healing increased from 10 to 15. Okay, I actually really like the change. It's getting extra healing. Passives, the Evolution bonus damage to vulnerable reduction from 18 to 15%. Okay, so we're getting a change on that. Transfusion minion healing increased by like 15%. Oh, that's good. Then Drain Vitality lucky hit chance increased from 25 to 30. Amplified damage increased by 3%. So, okay, overall, some nice little changes over here. I really wish they just made minions a lot more tanky, especially towards like World Tier 4, just for like the general players to play, so you don't have to like get those rolls on rings, because it's a pain to sacrifice the amount of damage that you would lose out. Next up, Book of the Dead. Necromancer's minions will now automatically resummon after respawning during a world boss fight. Wow, that's actually a pretty nice big change, because specifically on bosses and some of the elites, they would just delete your little minions, and you just have to sit there and wait. Skeletal Warrior Defender's upgrade Thorns inherently increased from 40 to 50%. Shadow Skeleton Mage upgrade attacks required for additional Shadow Bolt reduced from 5 to 4. Bone Skeleton Mage upgrade Fortify amount increased from 10 to 20. And Iron Golem's upgrade attacks required for Slam attack reduced from 5 to 4. Essence Glyph bonus now affects all damage instead of core skills. Okay, these are awesome. And like I said, most of the classes will probably get that. Wow, this is a massive change. But as long as they don't nerf Bone Spear, Necromancer is still going to be one of the best classes. For sure. Splintering Aspect Bone Shard bonus damage reduced. Ooh, okay, so we got reduced from 50 to 100 to 30 to 60, so almost cut in half. Aspect of Plane of Darkness bonus damage increased 50 to 100 to 75 to 125. Coldbringer's Aspect Blizzard cooldown reduced by 2 seconds. Aspect of Hungry Blood chance to fire a Blood Lance increased over here to it's a 3% increase. Blood Soaked Aspect damage increased that was from 0.2 to 0.31. Aspect of Ultimate Shadow, damage increased from 0.22 to 0.48. So this one's actually pretty massive. It's more than double. Aspect of Grasping Vines, critical strike damage bonus reduced to, what is it, 20% reduction. Then Osseous Gale aspect bonus, Bone Storm duration from 4 to 8 to 5 to 10. Okay, so that's going to be good. Aspect of Damned damage bonus increase, so another 10% there. Bloodbath aspect echo damage reduction reduced from 70 to 60 to 60 to 50. Now, even though it says damage reduction, I believe the Bloodbath aspect is the one where it does the AoE. Let me double check on this one for you guys, because I liked the Blood Surge. Let me go to gear and skills. I believe you can throw on an amulet. Yeah, Blood Surge's echoes again, and it does less damage. So even though it says that it's the damage reduction, you'd think that damage reduction means it does less damage. But no, how it works is the damage reduction is actually going to be a better thing to have. Like, if it only does 10% less damage, that's better than dealing 60% less damage. Hopefully that makes sense, but this is a buff, okay? It's just the way it's worded. Anyways, aspect of Reanimation Skeletons damage bonus increased from 20 to 30 to 30 to 40. Okay. And then the Bloodless Scream Essence gain increase, so nice little double over there. Okay, Deathless Facade damage increase. So the biggest change right here is really just the aspect of Bone Shard. If we go over here, I believe it's going to be on this one, right? So yeah, so Bone Spear's primary attack makes him vulnerable, and it deals 50 to 100% bonus damage, and now you're only dealing 60. That's a 40. That's like cutting it in half. So that's a massive nerf overall to Bone Spear. But hey, at the end of the day, it's still probably pretty solid. But you know, no one's gonna be happy about a nerf if you're playing that class, right? All right, my favorite class is the Rogue. So advanced rapid fire duration increased. Caltrops. Oh, this is actually pretty nice. I will test this out because Caltrops, and I've been talking about how stat-wise, this thing is excellent, but no one wants to play it because the cast animation just takes too long. And if it's way faster, hey, maybe it'll be way better. Enhanced Cold, Lucky Imbue hit chance increased from 30 to 40. Enhanced Smoke Grenades damage bonus from 15 to 20. Okay, Methodical Dash maximum cooldown reduction increased from 3 to 4, so that's a buff. Concealment Stealth duration increased from 4 to 5. Okay, that's good. Especially for PvP, it's kind of fun, even though you can still see him. It's because you get a 100% chance on crit for the duration until it expends the charge. Enhanced Dark Shroud's chance not to be consumed increased. Okay, so it's another buff. And then Supreme Death Trap cooldown reduction has been increased. Wait, Supreme Death Trap cooldown. I gotta double check on what the heck this is. Let's go to the Rogue, and let's go to the skills. Is this like the... I know it's not this one. What the heck is that? I don't even know what aspect would this be on. I'm guessing it's offensive. Oh, Supreme Death Trap? Okay, I'll have to look that up, what the heck that is. So the cooldown reduction increase. So that means that it would be a nerf, right? Because you're increasing the cooldown. Anyways, next up, Victimized Lucky Hit Chance increase. Siphoning Strike also requires Lucky Hit Chance of 75%. Rugged damage reduction against damage over time increased. Okay, so it's a small buff, but this just doesn't really matter too much. Mending Obscurity healing per second while stealth increased. And then Aftermath energy restored increased. Let's see if on the passive, because I can just copy and paste this text over here so we can see it. What is the actual Aftermath energy? Oh. Okay, so here it is. So after using an ultimate, we get to restore, it was up to like 75% energy. So this got a buff? What? Oh my gosh. Okay, this was already really good, and I ran it in every single build. This is awesome. So if anyone's playing my Death Trap Rogue, that's the one that like kind of went a little bit viral, that's going to get actually buffed. Oh my gosh. I was surprised by that. Because when you actually use this in combination with one of these specializations, when you spend 100 resource, you get 4 seconds off of your ulti cooldown anyways. Oh my gosh, that is a massive surprise. I did not expect that. I mean, it's only 25 energy, but again, it activates almost the next one in terms of one of the specializations. This is cool. Anyways, Paragon, combat glyphs bonuses now affects all damage instead of core skills, so that's really awesome. And Eldritch Bounties legendary node duration increased from 6 to 9, and then the preparation ultimate cooldown reduction is increased from 4 to 5. Wait, preparation, that's a buff. Wait, so they just buffed this, and then they also buffed this? That's another 1 second, and it might not seem that big of a deal, but that's a 20% increase, which this matters, trust me. Rogue just got a massive buff in 2 different departments. Legendary aspect. So aspect of Volta's Shadows damage increase from some numbers. Icy Alchemist chill increase. Shadow Slicer aspect damage increase. Toxic Alchemist damage increase. Vengeful aspect lucky hit chance increase. Aspect of imitated imbuement's duration from 5 to 9, and aspect of stolen vigor healing increased, aspect of lethal dusk life kill duration increased, aspect of noxious ice bonus damage got increased, elusive menace dodge chance increased. Okay, this one can actually be kind of okay for PvP. Sky Hunter's energy gain increased. Grasp of Shadows lucky hit chance increased from, this is so small. It should be just literally not even lucky hit chance. It should just always activate. This is a unique item. Make the uniques actually good in the game. Actually, we'll be dropping a video very soon on going over how to fix all these uniques, because some of these are so incredibly weak. And this does not change the fact that the shadow that you have will not have your aspects. It's not going to have all the bonus damage. It would just be cool just to have like that little shadow clone just come in once in a while and just do some damage. I actually just think you should it be 100%, because you lose out on too much for the gloves, realistically, on most builds. All right, so Sorcerers. Hopefully this class is going to get some massive buffs, because out of all the classes that we've been grinding, Sorcerers kind of felt like the weakest one, especially towards the end of the game. So let's start right off. Skills. Charge bolts damage increased. Okay, now benefits from skill ranks on enhanced charge bolt. Destructive charge bolts damage reduction increased. So damn, is this a nerf or a buff? Because it's just the wording on it. Anyways, destructive incinerate damage reduction increased from 20 to 25. Ice blades cast clean up has been tightened, allowing players to act after it's cast sooner. Okay, so that means faster animation. In terms of how it works. Hopefully this means that like it has no animation to actually cast the Ice Blade. Anyways, Firebolt initial damage increase. Oh, okay, so you get 8% more. That's like almost double right there. This is Firebolt, not Fireball, though. Okay. Anyways, Wizard's Firewall maximum increased mana regen has been increased, so another 10% increase on that. Wizard's Blizzard Core skill mana cost reduction has been increased. Wait, Blizzard core skill? Blizzard isn't a core skill. Isn't it considered like a mastery? Interesting. I'm not sure what exactly this means for this. But I'm guessing that its cost reduction has increased. So would be a buff, like it costs less. Anyways, Supreme Deep Freeze cooldown reduction increased from 50 to 100%. Okay. Then we have passives. Elemental Dominance now affects mastery skills and just core skills. That's good. That's like a buff to Blizzard, Firewall, and like a lot of those other ones. Anyways, Meteor as well. Potent Warding duration increase from... Okay, so what is the Potent Warding? Is this the shield? Because this would be a massive... Because it used to be, I believe, 5 seconds, and then they nerfed it to... what was the Potent Warding? Let's just type in a ward. Oops. Warding. Where is that? Oh, wait, this one. Oh, it's the resistance ones. Never mind. I thought this was the ones where it gave you shields. That would have been actually really, really good. Okay, so then that doesn't matter. Oh, the barrier protection increase. Okay, so this went from 2 to 3. And then align the elements damage reduction per second increase from 123 to 369. Okay, so that one's like a triple. But I'm guessing this is some sort of like elemental like damage protection, which again, right now resistances are kind of bad. Wait till Season 2 comes out with all these buffs, so it could actually be pretty good. Mana Shield damage reduction increased from 15 to 21, so a nice little buff there, 50% about. And then Devouring Blaze bonus critical strike damage reduced from 30% to 21. Devouring Blaze bonus critical strike damage to immobilize reduced from 75 to... Wow, that's a massive nerf! What? Wow. Then Fiery Surge mana regen got increased from 30 to 45. And the Paragon Destruction Glyph now affects all damage instead of core skills. Again, that's good. So, enhancement Spark. Enhancement chance to form crackling energies increased by 4%. Frozen Orb enchantment. Chance being cast from 20 to 30%. That's a 50% increase. Incinerate enchantment cooldown reduced from 18 to 14 seconds. Hydra enhancement mana threshold reduced from 300 to 200. The legendary aspects. Okay, the aspect of efficiency mana cost reduction increased from 10 to 25 and also now affects mastery skills. And then aspect of Armageddon damage increase by like, what is that? From 0.25 to 0.4. Aspect of Shattered Stars damage increase from 0.2 to 0.25, and then Serpentine aspect of Hydra duration reduction. So I think this is where you get the extra Hydra, but it like lasts less. So this would be a buff to Hydra builds. I want more like damage on Hydra though. Glacial aspect Ice Spikes bonus damage to Frozen reduced from 25 to 15%, and the aspect Ice Spikes damage increased from 0.3 to 0.35. Tundral, Frozen Tundral Ice Spikes damage increased from 0.34. Oh, so this is a buff. I believe is this the Blizzard one where you get these little like spikes that would pop? I think that's what it is. Aspect of the Frozen Wake Ice Spikes damage increased. Okay, let me just check out this. Let me type in the word Ice Spikes on this just to give you guys like the exact wording here. Is it on offensive? Yeah, okay, so this is what ice. Oh, this is ice armor that leaves the ice spikes. Okay, yeah, I was correct. These are little ice spikes that exploded. I'm sure some of you guys may have seen the Uber Lilith kill that did use these as well. So this is a buff to that. And then the bonus damage to Frozen got reduced. So let me see if I can double check on this one. Glacial ups. I think it's an offensive one. This is when you class Blizzard. Oh, okay. This got decrease, so it's a buff and a nerf in 2 different departments. All right, anyways, aspect of biting cold, chance to apply vulnerable to frozen enemies got increased. This could be actually okay. The problem with sorcerers is like to apply vulnerability you're really playing ice, right? In case aspect of life and mana restore per second increase from 10 to 20 to 20 to 30. Stable aspect chance for a free cast increase. Aspect of splintering energy chance to spawn additional lightning spear has been increased. Ooh, this is massive. Okay, going from an additional lightning spear from 11 to 20 to 50% of the time. And let me just check this out. Splintering energy. I want to see if is this offensive? Okay, so this is massive. Now, if it has a 50% chance, right, and we put this on a two-hander, maybe we could make a lightning spear build, which is really, really cool. Considering, yeah, if you put it on a two-hander, that in theory should be 100% increased, or if you're doing this on an amulet, you can go to 75%. But 100% chance to have your skill be doubled can be pretty good. Aspect of unbroken tether chance for additional chain lightning increased. Oh man, why didn't they just make this a 100%? It's still very weak considering it only hits one target till it bounces. Like, it really needs a massive, massive buff for Chain Lightning. I mean, we did get a buff with Chain Lightning and Hydra, which I was like saying we're probably going to get a buff with Chain Lightning, Hydra, and I was also hoping that Frozen Orb would get a bonus, and it did in the enchantment, but it's still too weak to consider me to be super excited to play the class. However, with this additional Lightning Spear, maybe someone out there will try to make a Lightning Spear build. This is where it shoots out the thing, and then it gives you like additional crit, and then it can also stun all the enemies that it hits when it actually crits. So it still has to have like, well, you have a chance for the bonus, and then that has a chance to stun. It's just, there's too many conditional, conjunctional things currently with sorcerers. Anyways, let's check out the items. Maybe this made it so much better. So gloves and Luminaire fireball damage reduction from 65 to 75% to 55 to 65. This is still terrible. Well, I don't know why it does less damage. You should be doing increased damage when you get a unique item. I just generally don't understand the design decision in terms of having a unique item. These are the ones where fireball bounces, but does less damage. Why would you want your fireball to do less damage? Ever. Like, it's a unique item. Make it do more damage. I understand that, in theory, you get more damage because you're getting it to activate again, but at the same time, it's such a small amount of increase when you lose out on your legendary power. You're missing out on potentially, well, this one is attack speed of fireball. So normally you'd want crit chance, some sort of +2 skills, which this one does offer. This one has lucky hit chance for stun. So this one's not that bad. But just in general with the uniques, I think they need a massive like rework, and we'll be talking about that in a future video. Estus Heirloom critical strike chance for movement speed got increased. In this game, you can have a maximum of 200% increased movement speed, I believe, or it is 200% movement speed is the key word that applies. It's a small buff, but everyone's playing bonuses to Ice Nova because you need Ice Nova to do any damage with the sorcerers. Esidora's Overflowing Cameo chance to release a Lightning Nova has been increased by 5%. That's it? That is it. If you guys didn't know what this was, this is the amulet. Remember, you're losing out on your resource cost reduction. You're missing out on cooldown reduction. So those are two stats. You do get movement speed, which is kind of like a pretty decent stat on Amulet. But the fact that you don't get those, and you lose out on a legendary power that gets a 50% increase. There's a 10% chance when you do collect a crackling energy, which is already something like a mechanic in the game where it's like when you hit the enemy on lucky hit, when this happens, 10% of a 5%, that something else happens that you get this. And then when you finally pick it up, you have a 15% chance of getting the Lightning Nova. I think it should just straight up be at 100% whenever time you pick up the thing, because usually you're killing the target anyways to get the Lightning Nova, and it just releases the Nova instantly. Okay, I ranted a little bit over there, but I really think Sorcerers needs a massive rework on a lot of stuff. Okay, so Aspect of Disobedience, we actually talked about this in a previous video, but I'll go over these items. Is there like a lot here? Because I don't want to make this video too long, and I might separate it into several parts. Okay, this is not too big. So Disobedience got a nerf, and I already talked about this one, but basically it got cut almost in half. Retribution damage to stun enemies cut in half as well. Exploiter's Aspect bonus damage to Unstoppable, only 10% decrease, not that big of a deal. Starlight's Aspect resource has gotten increased. This could actually be pretty big for a lot of different builds. If you want to run like way less armor and just start stacking a bunch of more HP, and what you do is you just take a bunch of damage and then you refill your damage, or you refill your HP, and then you get a bonus amount of resource. They basically doubled it. Butcher Cleaver slow increased, and it's like whatever. Drop rates adjustment. So this is actually pretty important. So the increased bonus to ancestral and sacred items in Nightmare Dungeons got increased by 5%. They removed a 20% chance for extra equipment from elite monsters outside of Nightmare Dungeons and Helltide, but they increased the chance to drop an extra equipment item from elite monsters in Nightmare Dungeons and Helltide by 10%, and the Nightmare Dungeons now have a 50% chance to drop a second legendary item upon completion, and Nightmare Dungeons now give 3 rare items upon completion instead of 1, so it's extra like gold and extra, salvage and stuff like that. So monsters HP scaling from 85 to 100% bonus per extra player in a party. So this is going to make the game a little bit more difficult. The Miscellaneous adjusted the scaling of the Greed Shrine to improve its effectiveness throughout the game. Okay, so this is good, actually. World bosses now drop potions more often. There's no longer a limit on how many materials you can refine to a higher materials at once. Okay, cool. And then these are, we're increasing the availability of affixes to make them easier. Okay. Oh, this is actually pretty big. This is how big is this? Because this could be like almost another video on its own. Okay, this video is already gonna be like half an hour long. All right, let's check it out anyways, because I'm gonna read it anyways. So control impaired duration can now appear on reduction can now appear on pants. So you can get it on chest, amulet, and pants now. I wonder if you can get 100% control impair reduction and just be immune to all like CC. Someone let me know, or if it's going to be something where you can't just get 100%. Barrier generation can now appear on all classes. Ooh, I'm not sure if I like this though. To generate like extra barrier generation, this would be like a bad thing, because like if you're playing a build that doesn't have barrier, no good, right? Lucky hit chance while you have a pair can now appear for all classes. Ooh, this makes it even harder to get rolls for certain things. Mastery skill damage newly added can appear on sorcerer's weapons. Okay, most of this stuff is just going to be so much harder to roll. But if you're playing like, let's say, Blizzard, then yeah, it's good. So that just means you're going to have to roll it on other characters. Resistance to all elements can now appear on shields. It doesn't really matter though. That's only like Necromancer. So, so the core stats, 50% stronger when on weapons, 25% stronger when on weapons. Wait, this is a buff? So core stats bonuses on weapons have been overperforming. So we're pulling, so now it's a 50, we're cutting down all of the rolls. Wait, is this chance to roll? Or is this the stats on it? The core stat bonus. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this is a nerf, guys. This is all just a nerf. We just lost 25% of our stats. Why, man? On the weapons. All right. Cooldown reduction. Wait, whoa, hold on. Cooldown reduction after it's felt mandatory due to the raw power. We imagine cooldown reduction will remain highly desirable stat, but the penalty for not prioritizing. Wait, so they just removed 30% cooldown reduction on all the stats? Imbuement skill cooldown reduction reduced. Trap skill cooldown reduction. So they just nerfed all the cooldown reduction. Wow. It's so weird, because they said that like the cooldowns are so important for mandatory, and then we're gonna nerf them all. What? Instead, what would have been cooler is if it just like amulets as the implicit always rolled cooldown reduction. That would have been the heck yeah, thanks so much guys, versus dude, you're just making it all. Now the rolls not only need to roll on like every single piece of gear, but now they need to be as perfect as possible, right? If I'm reading this, I'm trying to understand how this is worded. Cooldown reduction affixes often felt mandatory due to their raw power. We imagine cooldown reduction will remain a highly desirable stat, but the penalty for not prioritizing won't. The penalty, yeah, I'm not sure what they mean by this. Does this mean that like we have a higher chance to get it, or the range? From what I'm reading, it just means that like the chance to get cooldown. Or is it the actual stat of the cooldown? Instead of it being like, let's say 12%, it's like 8% now, right? Yeah, I'll have to double check on that one. Anyways, we're seeing crit strike damage and vulnerable damage often viewed as a hard requirement. But yeah, that's normal. It's just like if you play Diablo 3, you need to get crit hit damage and crit chance. We believe this is a step toward allowing more builds to flourish. Well, then, like, vulnerability is also just, like, built into the game. If your character doesn't have vulnerable, then you just don't do any. So they just reduced all the crit damage, reduced all lightning crit damage, and the vulnerable damage got reduced. It's so weird that they're saying that, like, we see that everyone is running crit strike damage and vulnerable damage, so what we're gonna do, guys, is reduce them. How about get the other stats and buff them up? Versus making the players upset, because this is just going to make the players upset. Well, like, originally I was kind of like, you know, going in and I was like, oh, dude, this is some like cool changes for Rogue. Like, I was really excited. Then I'm just reading this, I'm just like, this is massive nerfs to like everything. Why are they just nerfing the game so hard? Cooldown reduction on inherent offense, reduce cooldown, reduce crit strike damage, reduce vulnerable damage on crossbows. What the heck, dude? Oh my gosh. Damage to crowd controlled enemies decreased. Damage to frozen enemies increased. Okay. So, okay, so they're buffing the other stats. So they're increasing the physical fire, cold, lightning, fire, poison. Like, all of these just got increased. So all of elemental damage and I guess shadow, poison, non-physical, those all got increased. And then the physical damage got increased by 40%. But the problem is that we are all getting nerfed in real time. It's not like our items suddenly get the ability to like, oh, can we choose to get physical damage or cold damage? It's like anything that we had that was like best in slot now is like, well, it's garbage now. It's fine. The season's starting anyways, but I still feel very disappointed by these. It just feels bad, right? To just like, have your character get nerfed in real time versus like, oh, the season started and these will be applying. All right, so all of these got increased by 25%. I don't know what the original roll was. I believe the original roll might have been like 12.5. So that's like basically doubling all of the stats. And remember that you can upgrade these and increase it by even more. So maybe it won't be that bad at the end of the day, but you're still going to have to get new items. You can't just take your item that already had like the one reroll that you had and then now convert your crit vulnerable, you know, rings with like, let's say crit vulnerable ring with like crit chance and like HP. You can't just take that and just mod one thing, right? So these are just now very specific things getting the increases, and this is with all of the stuff. Okay, so a lot of these getting basically doubled overall, I would say, most of them. Attack speed after dodging got, ooh, that's actually pretty dang good. 20% increased attack speed is pretty solid, considering you can upkeep that up pretty high. Damage after dodging got increased. Okay, so this was something I would maybe consider. Damage reduction. Wait, they reduced the damage reduction from close enemies reduced by 20%. What? Wow. Okay, so that's a massive nerf at the very end. They just kind of threw that one. That was like a surprise. I was not expecting that. Anyways, this video is long enough, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. I was like actually going to like, okay, there's some buffs and some nerfs, and like Necromancer did lose out a massive amount on Bone Spear. But I still think it's playable. Rogue got some nice changes, but then like at the very end, it was just like a wild card out there. Just nerfs up like crazy. Anyways, let me know your thoughts on it. I'm kind of disappointed with the amount of nerfs. I think they should have just buffed the rest of the stats and then left the stuff that we already had the same, because you're just going to make people upset versus just, you know, making some people happy with their, like, maybe with a ring that had, like, plus to cold damage. And now they're like, oh, sweet, I had this roll that I thought was kind of bad. Now it's kind of good. But anyways, that's going to wrap things up. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. Subscribe if you're new so you don't miss out on more new patch notes. And we'll be dropping gameplay of the new season very, very soon. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.